Yeah. Well, you know, I was friends with people. I like to tell a lot of jokes, and I think people like to be around me. So that's why I had so many friends. Then I got into politics, and some of my friends weren't my friends anymore. You see, politics will divide. Anything? Yes. Yes.
Well, my dad has one, and he has one of those, and he actually puts them right on. Since he doesn't have a vest, he puts them right on.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. He can put it on his coat or something. Yeah. Now, see this one? Did you see the train that's on here? Can you see the train there? I was a lawyer for the Illinois Central Railroad. And when I was elected president, they gave me this as a going-away present, so I could remember the railroad. But that's true, yeah. Anything else? Adults? Older students? Anything you're wondering about the war or the Emancipation Proclamation? Congress was never this easy with me. They had a lot of questions. Now, by the time I got to the White House, we had gas lights. Remember, we had candles in my cabin? We had gas lights there. When Mrs. Lincoln and I were first married and living in Springfield in a home that wasn't a log cabin, we had whale oil lamps. We could carry them around. They had a wick, and you could light them with a lucifer, and then you carry them around from room to room, put them on a buffet or on the table or on the fireplace. You could do that. Take them to your bedroom, they would give you light. But now, by the time I got to the White House, we had gas lights. Yes, my dear?
Were you nervous when you were about to wrestle?
Was I nervous when I...
About to wrestle?
When you were going to wrestle with...
Oh, was I nervous when I... Well, because I had only been in that little town a week. I didn't know many people yet. And here he puts me up to wrestle this big fella. But I suppose I was nervous. And I got nervous when I made speeches, too, later on in my politics. Yeah, I did. And, yes, ma'am.
Do you have a favorite author who has written a book about you?
Well, for adults, I have two favorite authors who have given me a fine biography on me. One is a man by the name of Stephen Oates, who teaches yet up at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst. It takes a line from my second inaugural for the title. It says, "With malice toward none." And it's so well researched that it's gotten a lot of other works. You would find it here at the library. And the other is a little more recent by David Donald, and it's simply called Lincoln. And both of these have received numerous library awards. Put them on one hand. Yes, my dear? Oh, have I ever written anything? No. I wrote some poems which were never published, and I wrote a few short stories, but they were never published. They were never considered. And most of my short stories were built around law cases that I tried. Yeah. Yes, Mary?
Is it true that you used to use your top hat as a briefcase?
I would, if I filled up my pockets in my law office with letters and documents, I could always put them in my hat and then put the hat on and take them home with me, to work on that night. And that became a habit with me, and I would do that at the White House, too. I had two male secretaries. You know, there's a story out that I had a secretary by the name of Kennedy. That wasn't true. Kennedy had a secretary named Lincoln, but they've said that Kennedy had that I had a secretary named Kennedy. That was true. I had two male secretaries, John Nicolay and John Hay. And every morning they would slice open my letters, and they wouldn't read them, they'd put them on my desk. So I might be in the process of reading a letter, and there would be a knock at the door, and it would be a captain in the Navy saying, "Mr. President, they're going to test a new cannon down at the Navy Yard, and they'd like to have you come down and watch it." So I could put those letters in my hat, go out and get in the carriage, and while the driver's going to be down there, I could read, you see. So it was to my advantage. And this boy right here.
I read a story that it said whenever you got a lot of letters, you put them in the pocket so you put them in the hat.
Exactly. that's why the hat turned out to be pretty good. Except one day at the law office, I put some letters in my hat, and I was going home. I only lived 6 blocks from the law office. And I had to go by a neighbor who had a straight board, up and down board fence by his garden. And he had a little boy, a little mischievous. So as I walked by the garden and he saw me coming, and I guess my head was down a little bit, I was thinking, and suddenly, unknown to me, a broomstick came out over the wall, and it hit my hat, and it was windy, so when my hat went down to the ground, all those letters and notes started to blow over the neighborhood. So I learned my lesson to be a little more cautious when I went by that man's property.